Today we will learn about the voting process in the United States. If you decide you would like to vote in the United States, first you must register. With an increase in both voters' rights and technology, today there are many ways to register to vote. You can register by filling out a voter registration application in person or by mailing it in. You may also register to vote when you apply for your driver's license, when you apply for your car's registration, or even when you apply for a fishing permit. In addition, high schools, college campuses, and other volunteer groups often host voter registration drives to help potential voters with the registration process. If you are interested in registering to vote, you can usually find all the information you need on your local Supervisor of Elections website. When you fill out your voter registration application, you will be asked to provide some basic information about yourself, such as your name, address, age, and political party preference. Usually your options for political party will include Democrat, Republican, Independent, and other. The party you choose can determine whether or not you'll be allowed to vote in your state's primary elections. A primary election is an election used within a political party to narrow down their candidates to one final candidate who will run for office. Usually we only have primary elections for the presidency, and primary elections take place from February to June in an election year. In some states, you may vote for any candidate in a primary election, regardless of which party you have registered with. This is called an open primary. However, in many states' primary elections, you may only vote for candidates in the political party you are registered with. This is called a closed primary. Florida, for example, is a closed primary state. This means that if you register as a Republican, you can only vote for the Republican candidates in the primary. Or if you register as a Democrat, you may only vote for the Democrat candidates in the primary. It also means that if you register as an independent, you will not get to vote in a primary election because you are not a member of any political party. However, in the general election for the president in November, you can vote for any candidate you choose, regardless of which political party you are registered with. After you register to vote, you will be assigned to a voting location based on your address. Oftentimes your polling station, which is the location where you will vote, will be a library or a school near your home. This means that anytime you move, you need to update or reapply for your voter registration. Each state has different rules for registering to vote, but usually they require that you are a U.S. citizen, a resident of their state for a specified period of time, and are 18 or older. Though their individual policies differ a bit, each state must follow the Constitution and its amendments, which say that no state may deny someone the right to vote based on religion, race, or sex. The addition of these amendments shows an increase in the federal government's control over voting in elections over time. Once you have registered, you are now eligible to vote. When most people think about voting, they picture the presidential elections that happen every few years. However, there are many other opportunities to vote in the United States. At the state and local level, there are elections for individuals such as mayors, governors, school board members, state legislators, and many others. There are also opportunities to vote on issues like property taxes or funding for schools. In some states, citizens can even use voting to have input in the lawmaking process. The first way is called a referendum. A referendum is when a state legislature proposes a new law or suggests changes to an old law, and people are able to voice their opinion by voting on the law. The second way is called an initiative. An initiative is similar to a referendum, but in an initiative, the people come up with the new law or make changes to the old law themselves, instead of the state legislature, and then vote on it. Referendums and initiatives only occur at the state level. At the national level, citizens aren't given the opportunity to vote directly for laws. They can only vote for members of Congress, who make the laws, and the president, who has a large role in the lawmaking process. The people running in elections are called candidates, and it's the voters' job to carefully educate themselves on these candidates and the issues they support before voting. When picking the candidate you want to vote for, you should first consider your personal views and beliefs. What is the most important thing to you right now? For example, you may have some concerns about your finances. Questions you may ask yourself are, how much money am I paying in taxes? And how do I want the government to use that tax money? Then find candidates whose beliefs and actions match yours most closely. There are many ways to educate yourself on issues and candidates. You can look up and read over voter guides, which give you background information on different candidates and their political beliefs. Today, you can find these online from government and newspaper websites. You can also watch political debates between candidates on television before elections. At the local level, you can attend community meetings and contact a candidate's office to ask questions you can't find the answers to. Despite the fact that most citizens over the age of 18 may legally vote, millions of citizens don't. When people don't vote because they are uninterested in politics, we call this voter apathy. Data shows education has a large effect on whether or not someone votes. This chart shows voter turnout by education level in the 2016 election. The lowest level of voter turnout was among those with less than a ninth grade education. Within this group, voter turnout was only about 18%. As education levels increase, so does voter turnout. Of students who attended some high school but didn't graduate, only about 30% of them voted. You see a significant jump with those who got a high school diploma. About 47% of this group voted. You see another big jump with those who attended some college but did not finish, with 60% of this group voting. Of those that have a basic 4-year bachelor's degree, about 70% vote. And for those that have an advanced degree, such as a master's or doctorate, voter turnout is highest, at about 74%. This data shows the importance of education and democracy. After you have registered to vote and chosen your candidates, on voting day you will head to your polling station and finally vote. Today there are many types of ballots. Written ballots that you fill out by hand, voting machines where you vote electronically, and absentee ballots you can use to vote and send in if you can't make it to the polling station. Many areas even have early voting, where you can vote several days in advance of the election. However, one thing all ballots have in common is privacy. The founders of the United States wanted voters to cast their ballots without fear of punishment or criticism, and believed voting should therefore be done by secret ballot. Today, no matter which method you choose to vote, your choice will only be known to you, unless you choose to share it.